Sorry, my worst fears came true. Um, I hope you can join me soon. I hope nobody's run away. Okay, thank you, Agam, for joining back. I just don't know what happened. There was disruption, Anshul, and this was my. Yeah, this is like the thing that worries me the most. I've lost the thread of the questions. So throw one at me, man. Any of you, Agam, Anshul, Bharati, Bharat, Preeti, Kalpana, anybody. This is the reason why I distrust technology. I'm saying this in front of Anshul Sonak, who's like a big deal, I can tell. Sorry. Do I plan much more such like, oh yes, somebody has to give me the opportunity, man. I love talking about things. Yeah, seriously, no, I would love to. I would love to. Um, let's see. I'm hoping something like that happens. Ujjwal Kumar, you, I'm cute, thank you. That's not something that people have said to me in a long, long time. Favorite detective film. Favorite detective film. Okay. Um, how can I not? How am I not able to think of a favorite detective film? No, I can't, Bharat. I'm so sorry. I just can't think of a good detective film that I've seen. I It's not necessarily a detective film, but there was this film. I'm just now starring Kevin Spacey, who's lying. The Kaiser Soze one. I really loved that. I also loved L.A. Confidential, but I don't know whether you want to classify it as a detective film or not. How did I get to be where I am in my life today? Okay, Amrita. Actually, I don't know where I am in life today at the moment. Okay, no. So life's taken its course. And I'm pretty much sort of moved along with that course. Um, I made deliberate choices to do management and to get into writing. Worked hard towards work-life balance, and I have a very clear sense of. I like to think I have a very clear sense of priority as to what is there, um, what I want in life. So that's made life easy and simple. And I consciously like to think simple. Haha, you're so humble, stay that way. It's like now, dude, Anshul, are you sort of pulling my leg or what? So I've been called cute and humble, which I both things I haven't been called in a long time. But I'm glad I'm conveying that sense on this platform. Uh, so good, good, good. I'm still troubled by the fact that I can't immediately think of a good detective film. My favorite motivational phrase. Um, I don't have a motivational phrase, Agam. But my favorite quote I can share, which is rumor is the vehicle that truth rides on. Um, did you feel emotional attachment with any of the characters from the book? How did the process of the book? Okay. Um, how did the emotion? Did I feel any emotional attachment with the book? I felt an emotional attachment with the book itself, not so much with any of the characters. Like I said, while you're in the process of writing, you spend a hell lot of time, a lot of time just sort of with the book and the idea. And every day you get up and you want to do, you want to add a little twist and masala to it and so on and so forth. Um, so, um, so you get emotionally attached to the book overall. At least I did. Not any particular character per se. Okay, how does my book stand out from the others? Um, okay, I wanted it to be pacey and racy, and and I. It wasn't a deliberate choice, but why it stands out, I think, in retrospect, is because it's a pretty risky narrative style to have adopted, and by all accounts, it seems to have worked. So yeah. If not for the development sectional, if not for being an author or a development professional, which alternative profession would you have liked to be in? Okay, I would have liked to be a film star, man. Not a hero type, because let's be real. but but I would like to be an actor. I've dabbled in acting a little bit, and I quite enjoy sort of. Quite enjoy playing various parts and trying out new things. So yeah, I would like to be an actor. I would also like to be a doctor, actually. Um, but even the thought of being a doctor came to me pretty late. Like really late, like 2 years ago or something. So yeah, what are some ways in which you promote your work? Okay, this. um, no, um, I'm consistently being told that not I'm not being very proactive about my book and so on and so forth. Though I've tried, I've certainly exhausted all my friends, um, bombarded them with Facebook posts and whatnot and messages and so on and so forth. Um, so yeah, um, so it's basically been social media events, some road shows, and so on and so forth. The usual mix of things, reviews, etc. Um, yeah, that's about it. Though I think there, and I don't see. Since this is an interesting question, because I really don't see many other people following that route. Um, Book promotion, to my mind, and this is just not my book I'm talking about, but generally my limited understanding of the Indian market, is that there is a large space for doing very creative book promotion, more imaginative ways of doing it, which haven't been tapped. Um, Most publishers, and again I say this with no malice, um, seem to be following some kind of a standard template for book promotion, which works, but it will not push new authors' books in particular beyond a certain level. Um, yeah. So I should tell you about my acting and what did I act in. I acted in several plays, um, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Most heartbreaking real crime story that you've heard. Ooh, I'm sorry, but the crime stories that I hear, there have been some pretty sad ones that I've read about, people who have been murdered and so on, very brutally, especially children, etc. And there's one that's mentioned in the book where they were these two rag-picking children who had been murdered some years ago by a group of drug addicts. These were children aged 6 and 4. I don't know why the addicts wanted to robbed them in the first place, and then they got disappointed because the kids didn't have money and therefore they killed them. It was a really weird one. That's really, really sad. Um, am I a full-time or a part-time author? Okay, I am a part-time author. I would love to be a full-time one, though, provided there was a little more money than what I'm making at this point. How does it affect my writing? Not much. Primarily because I have a very supportive family, especially wife. So that makes sort of a lot of things easier, and has paved a lot of things easier in life. Is there a question that I have missed? Not yet. And like I said, if I've missed any of the questions because of the disruption, just throw them in. Happy to take them on. Why do I think there are not too many female detective characters? There should be. Why it's not is tough to say. Um, I guess it's also because there are not so many. It's just an overall lack of female lead protagonists overall in literature. Most books tend to be narrated from the male perspective. Um, it's a reflection of how realities are in larger society. But I would think that there is good reason why there should be more female detective characters, because my own sense is that women are far more observant, prescient, and would make excellent detectives. So yeah, it's a little bit of a, well, not really a puzzle, but a little bit of a tragedy why there are not more female detective characters. There was a suggestion actually for my book to convert that character to a female detective one. Um, but yeah, it came way too down the book. Though you will find a very strong female character in my next one, though she's not a detective. What did you find most useful in learning to write? What was least useful or most destructive? What did I find most useful in learning to write? The fact that it's important to have your own voice, and the fact that you need to have conviction in your voice to say it. You need to be very firm about your voice, and you need to convey it in the most original way possible. That was the most useful thing that I learned while writing. If you are not going to take a risk, your book is going to sound like every other book, and that's really not good. Uh, what was the most destructive? Okay. As writers, you often write a particular scene or a particularly nice sentence or a nice turn of phrase, and you really grow very attached to it. Ki, man, this sounds really cool, and I've written this beautifully. And when you read it, that thing doesn't sort of, doesn't fit in with the rest of the narrative, and it's heartbreaking to let that go, but you need to, because the story is larger than a phrase or a sentence. Where do I see the Indian publishing industry going in the future? That's a tough question to be asking from a newbie. Um, I hope there's this particular rut that we, and people in the publishing industry know better than much better than me on this. Is that there's a particular rut that the industry finds itself in terms of the average number of sales being of a certain small number, the readership base growing at a sort of mixed pace, publishers operating at a very thin margins and so on. So the industry is actually quite is not really in terribly good shape, is my sense. Um, and I just hope it gets healthy, man. Could this story have been set in any other city? Yes, it possibly could have been set in any other city, but Gurgaon is the city that I know best. And like I've said somewhere else, it's one city where it was easy to imagine my characters living, dying, killing, and so on. So, Gurgaon, it was. Um, it could be set in any modern city with a little bit of tweaking, as long as the city has a certain sort of energy and dynamic similar to Gurgaon's. Yeah. Should we expect a food review column? I would like to. I don't know whether that'd be good as a critique or not, food critic, because while I'm very firm about my tastes and what I like and what I don't like, um, uh, for example, I love this cheap um, red and black sauce, thick Chinese street side food. Now, that's not something that you expect food critics to love, but I really love that. So I don't know how well something like that sits with a professional food critic. But then maybe because it's an original voice. If you did I ever fall in something which is unreal? I don't understand this man. Unreal like ghost or something? Or what? Though I should say that well, the nearest unreal thing that I fell in love with was Zeenat Aman, and that was way back when I was 10 years old, and she was on the LP cover of Satyam Shivam Sundaram in her quarter sari. And man, I was 10 years old, and I still thought, yeah, there's something happening to me, and what the hell is happening to me? So yeah, uh, that's probably as unreal as it gets, unless I don't know what you mean seriously. Um, okay, did I miss anything? Right. There was another question that I missed, and I really can't recall who it was from in that disrupted phase. Um, Thanks, Ujjwal. Um, okay. Uh, I believe I sing well. You believe I sing well too? Okay. No, I don't. I like these sort of like if you call my singing is this loud, raucous numbers, somewhat raunchy ones that I like to belt out once in a while. Though I haven't done so in quite a while. Though of course, Anshuli have suffered quite a few of those renditions in the past. Yeah, don't ask me to sing, man. Do you think the clothes that people wear also give an idea of what they think? Oh, do you think that clothes that people wear may also give an idea of what they think? Um, Maybe not specific clothes, but if you're observant enough, you can make out a lot of things from the way people are dressed, and not just about their socioeconomic background, but the kind of people they are. Would I change anything in the book in the hindsight? Um, would I change anything in the book in the hindsight? Uh, this requires a little bit of thinking. No, not really, Preeti. Nothing that I can think of at this point of time. Um, I'm sure there are ways in which I could have presented the book better. Um, Sentences, paragraphs, chapters could have been better framed. But no, nothing that I can see. The wholesale changes, no. Have I ever reviewed a book negatively? I have never had a chance to review a book. I'm on a formal review, that is. Um, but there are books that have disappointed me, um, and some pretty well-known ones. But no, I've never had a chance to. One book, one thing, one set of books that I picked up with a lot of expectation, and which didn't sort of meet those expectations, was the Jason Goodwin's Hisham series. For those of you who might not be familiar with it, this Jason Goodwin series is based in medieval Istanbul and features a eunuch called Hisham, who is the detective. And I picked it up with it. It sounded so interesting, the backdrop and the character and so on. But it just left me a little cold and disappointed. What is the most important part of a man's dress? I'm really not one I dress very clumsily myself. Um, so I really can't say. But I think what every man needs to have in his wardrobe is a pair of jeans. Um, yeah, that's about it. Hello, Veera. Thank you for joining in. Did I find it tough to publish the book? Not really, no. Um, I believe that if you have written, if you have a good story to tell, and if you have said it in a original your own voice, and you have said it in reasonably decent language, you will find a publisher. So if I were to order the common sort of challenges that people cite as far as publishing is concerned, um, personally for me, the biggest challenge has been marketing the book, um, then writing the book, uh, and the last and the least has been finding a publisher. No, so seriously, I've said this before. I think the finding a publisher challenge is actually fairly overrated. If your product is good, I think it will find a publisher and it will find an audience. Do you aspire for awards such as Man Booker's Prize? Okay, why not? But I am also aware that um, for those kind of awards, you also need to write a book on a certain canvas, and that's not the canvas of this book, of course. So it has to be in a certain canvas. It has to be tailored to a certain kind of audience. Um, the genre that I have chosen is not entirely and not. It's not because the genre is unconducive to these awards, uh, um, but there have been sort of noir books that have won prestigious awards. So that's really not um, a thing. Though I must say that in India, in general, among lay readers, there is this a little bit of lack of respectability, if you will, for crime writing. It's slowly changing. Um, but it's there. For example, there are a couple of stores who thought, who dithered at the idea of having a crime writer like me coming over to do a event. Time for rap. So, okay, what do you think is a better reader, ebook reader or paper bound? Up to you, man. I actually have started becoming a little bit of a fan of the e-reading thing. But to each his own. I personally prefer, I prefer paper bound still, but I don't mind the ebook reader now. Time for the rapid fire. Last question. Have even none of the young readers from buying books? Not necessarily. I think in the long run, at least, I suspect they are going to give more readership. Your book isn't gory. Was it deliberate? Okay, my book isn't gory. Was it deliberate? Yes. If you read the book carefully, Bharat, almost every emotion, whether it is tragedy or gore or anything, is very, very underplayed. Um, um, it was by design, and because at some subliminal level, I also expect, and I thought, and I hoped, and which seems to be holding true, is to let readers also imagine for themselves how things are unfolding. So you need to experience the gore, you need to experience the tragedy, and you need to imagine how it would be unfolding in people's homes and hearts, without the author necessarily spelling it out for you. Okay, so I believe we are nearing the end of this event, and there's time for a rapid fire. Is it time for the rapid fire, GyanDarbar? Would you turn this book into a film? Why not? I would love to. Find me somebody with money bags. Like I said, there's some movie guys who have liked the book, and I'm at this point of time not, and I'm happy about it. But I'm not attaching too much importance to it because somebody needs to shell out the money to get the movie made. So yeah, I'm hoping it will work out. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. There's always a next time. So I believe there's some kind of a rapid fire round coming up, Karan Johar style, if I'm not mistaken. I just hope I don't shoot my mouth off and say something that I shouldn't say. Okay, so is it coming up now, GyanDarbar folk, or is it going to come up a little later? Are there any questions that are still remaining? A book everyone should read, without a shred of doubt. B.R. Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste. Must read for everybody. If you haven't, you must. A lot of Ambedkar experts have now made his writing and his message very opaque, but read the man in his original form and he's brilliant. What would you like to write for your daughter? A nice note, but solely for her consumption. As also for my son. Like the book says, there's nothing without them. An overrated book. Jason Goodwin's Hisham series. I thought it was a little overrated. What else? Let's see. Okay, so the rapid fire has begun. A book everyone should read. I answered that. An overrated book. I got that as well. Next. Ding, 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 ding. A book you wish you had written. Okay. Orhan Pamuk's My Name is Red. And even though I've not read the book, I love the premise. Gideon Hayes' Stroke of Genius, which I mentioned earlier today. He's written about Victor Trumper and interpreted Victor Trumper through the eyes of the famous photographer George Bedlam. Best book movie adaptation. I didn't have the courage to read Lord of the Rings, but I like the movie. A book I wish I had written. An overrated actor. Okay, most Hindi film guys are overrated, but one overrated actor is Ajay Devgan. Kautilya versus Sun Tzu. Both. I have not read all of this stuff, but they both seem very eminently wise people. So why not both? Overrated actor Ajay Devgan and also his spouse Kajol. I know I'll be beaten up at home for this, but Kajol overrated too. or Kajal, as Karan Johar calls her. An underrated actor, I said this, Ranbir Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan, terribly underrated people. They're both brilliant and very underrated. I guess can other guys also throw these rapid fire type questions? I suppose yes. So if you have any, shoot, man. Woman, sorry, I should have said both. My favorite movie dialogue. There are two that I can think of, both written by Salim Javed and both picturized on Amitabh Bachchan. The first is a legendary Sholay one, Tumhara Naam Kya Hai Basanti. I love that one. The second is from the second one is from Diwar, where Amitabh is in the lift, where Madan Puri, who is a rival gang leader, is in the lift, and Amitabh enters, blocks the lift and enters, and then he shares some secrets from his gang with Madan Puri. And Madan Puri tells him, "Tum mujhe ye sab yahan kyun bata rahe ho?" And Amitabh says, "Suna hai, lift ki diwaron ke kaam nahi hote." Those two dialogues. Continental versus Chinese, Chinese, Chinese. Continental versus Chinese, Chinese. Cheap Chinese, sauce-laden Chinese, Chinese. English versus Hindi numbers, Hindi. Hindi. English I haven't gotten beyond the 80s, 70s, 80s. You're following here, asking whom do you love most and why? Okay, like in the world or at home or what? Writing on paper and computer, man. I can't read my own handwriting after an hour, so always on the computer. Take on Atif Aslam, Himesh. They seem all. What is my take on Atif Aslam, Himesh Reshammiya, and Arijit Singh in one word? They're very tragedy-ridden folk, aren't they? Okay, Anshul, you need to clarify this. Should I be talking about film stars or something, or I don't know? My favorite song, Sada Haq, Ate Rak from Rockstar, Rehna Tu from Delhi 6, and Kawa Kawa from Monsoon Wedding. No, don't ask me to sing those. The worst movie I've ever seen. There are only 2 movies in life I have slept off during. The first was Jeet, starring Salman Khan and Sunny Deol, and the second was Legends of the Fall, starring Brad Pitt. So I guess they are the worst movies I've ever seen. Anyone in my life, any female who I love the most, it has to be Bharti Solanki. Man, I love you so much. Have you seen Dangal? No, I have not. I would love to, but I'm not. I haven't seen a movie in a while, which is quite weird because I'm actually quite sort of fond of movies. Kejo or Simi? Kejo, man, Kejo. Simi seems, don't mean to be respectful, but she seems a little anemic and too cute. Kejo has the bitchy element to him, so Kejo. Keep it coming, folk. This is the rapid fire. My first crush, like I said, Zeenat Aman on the LP cover of Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Oh man, I haven't gotten over it. Contact lenses versus spectacles. Spectacles. I use contact lenses and man, it's tough. Cleaning them and so on and so forth. So spectacles. Not that spectacles don't have to be clean, but I think it's easier to clean. And contact lens involves poking yourself in the eye all the time, which I really don't feel like much doing. One contemporary celebrity I would love to date, Konkana Sen Sharma, I think. Yeah, Nandita Das too. Dusky types, like them. Gurgaon versus Tata Nagar, I guess it's going to be. That's a really tough one. I've grown to like Gurgaon for all its pitfalls and so on. But Tata Nagar is home, so on balance. Kind of favorite cricketer. Favorite cricketers, and there's something more that I need to see here apparently. And my favorite cuisine. Okay, favorite cricketers: Shane Warne and Shoaib Akhtar. Simply because every time they held the ball, you knew something was going to happen. Something. Shane Warne holds the ball. He's got like magic pummeling through his fingers, running through his fingers. And, he's going to do something in this match. Same with Shoaib Akhtar. My favorite cuisine, like I said, cheap sauce-laden Chinese available on the streets. Absolute favorite. Love it. I was in Kerala for 2 weeks and I ate this lovely sort of Kerala food and so on. And then after the fifth day, man, I really was craving for cheap Chinese. My least favorite dish, anything with bananas and raisins, I just hate it. Murder by knife or gun. Ooh, knife, I say. Though a gun is less messy, but knife. Beer or wine? Beer. And I hope you haven't seen my tummy, but it's got to do with beer. And just reading this, saying this makes me a little past. Tendulkar or Dravid. Tendulkar or Sehwag. Eating with hands versus spoon. Hands, always. Hands down. Hands. Tendulkar really is not I like him, but he's not really my favorite sort of guy. Favorite destination. I haven't been there. But it's an image that I've carried from my class 6, 7 textbooks. And this is, I don't even know how it's pronounced. I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's a place called Sevilla in Spain, where we had in a geography textbook, a nice grainy color picture of an orange orchard. I hope that's what they're called. So yeah, I would love to go there. Long hair versus short. In my case, long. Ronaldo or Messi? Messi. Hemant Kumar, Kishore Kumar. Oh, this is a tough one. I love them both. But if I had to choose one, Hemant Kumar. Hockey or football? Football. Football's got a real energy and it's a really basic game. All you need is the legs and a ball. Anything else, any other game that I can think of requires a little more than that. So it's possibly the most awesome game or not. Baby or Baba? As in son or daughter? Your biopic would be called, okay. My biopic would be called, that's an interesting one. A good father. Baby or Baba, Nethi, please clarify. Baby or Baba means you're talking about son or daughter? Or just, I don't know, Baba Jarda and Baby Manian or something, I don't know. Favorite Hindi crime film? Okay, favorite Hindi crime film. Favorite Hindi crime film has to be. I love a lot of Vijay Anand's works, but the best one I think is Jewel Thief. Friendship is equal to love. Which word is cute? Baba, baby, or Baba? Baba. Clive Cussler versus James Patterson. I've not read much of either, but from what little I've read of them both, Clive Cussler. Any more? Or okay, so if there is no more, Kirsten Stewart or Emma Watson, man, I only know the Desi Girls. Life for you is, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I like to keep it as simple as possible, and that I think comes from the fact that I think, or at least I've got a sense of the priorities for me. I may not meet the priorities for others this in the same order, but I've got a sense of priority and I try to stick to it, and it really makes life a lot very simple. One instrument I dream of playing, drums. The coolest guys in school used to play drums. Drums. Now, though I don't think I would have been particularly good at it. My hand, eye, leg, limb coordination is very, very poor. So, yeah. But since I'm supposed to dream drums. Okay. So looks like we are going to be ending soon. One sportsman you dream you could become. Okay, I would love to be Shane Warne, man. Always, as far as sports is concerned, Shane Warne. The guy is a genius. And he's got an edge to his personality, and I really like that. What if you weren't in that coffee shop where the couple had stopped coming? Okay. I'm sure I would have cooked up a murder somewhere else. So if I wasn't in that coffee shop where the couple had stopped coming, I would have cooked up a murder somewhere else, yes. Who did you idolize when you were a child? Sunil Gavaskar. Sunil Gavaskar. Okay. So it seems like, yeah, we've overshot on time, like how? And GyanDarbar guys, give me a signal as to when we should stop. I'm happy to go on. I suspect, yeah, we. Amir or SRK? SRK. Can there be a perfect crime? No. Not in those. Yeah, I got that. Can there be a perfect crime? No, I don't think there can be a perfect crime. Crimes can be go undetected for long. Culprits can go even scot-free if provided they're the right lawyers and connections and so on and so forth. But can they be a perfect crime? No. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. And any parting thought? Oh, just that thoroughly. Okay, that's nice to know. Any parting thought? Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. Great. And like I said at the beginning, and I'll say this again, thank you, GyanDarbar guys, for organizing this and putting this idea together. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you all, everybody who came in, who joined, who watched, who asked these questions. Thank you so much for your questions. I really loved fielding them. It's been absolutely wonderful, wonderful. I really enjoyed myself, and even if you enjoyed a fraction of how much I enjoyed myself, I think it would not have been too bad for you. So thank you so much for coming over. I'm glad you loved the interaction, and I loved it too. Thank you so much for your kind wishes, and it's time to call it a wrap. Thank you so much. Love you all for joining and for finding time to join today evening. All the best to you too. Bye bye. I will, Bharat. Bye.